community around to watch and cheer for you. Go Flad, Cat Boo. All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Fladervy with Freedom Planet.
Okay, we live?
Okay, go on.
Just start the run whenever. Just do 3, 2, 1, I guess, to them. You're the runner.
Okay, I'll start it on the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go, people! That's what I like to hear. Okay, so this is Freedom Planet with Lilac. I am Succinct and Punchy. This is my Lexi. Hello. And this will be playing through with Lilac. She's kind of the main character of the game. She has a boost, which is done with the meter in the top left, sort of like a Rocket Knight game or a Rise Star or something like that. And you'll see he'll be dive kicking all over the place when he goes through the levels quickly. When you jump, you lose speed because you're in the air, so you decelerate. If you dive kick, for mysterious reasons, you don't decelerate. So he's going to be doing that all the time throughout the run. And this run was originally supposed to be a race between Revolution, who sadly couldn't be here with us today because his visa got denied, which is unfortunate, but, you know, life and stuff. So he's hit the cycle of the geyser. That's a particular cycle. That only arrives every so often. You have to be very precise to make that cycle. But he made a backup strat. And here is a mid-boss. You have to kill the back 4 orbs as fast as possible before they go underground. A perfect strat right there. Excellent mid-boss. So this, like, every stage is kind of broken into 2 acts. You can see, like, the transition where the music changes and what have you. And slow, do a ground cyclone and then hold up so that you don't lose speed as fast, so that you fly over the hole. And that right there is called a fade-out skip. Whenever you leave a screen, the game fades out. The fade-out is artificial, not necessary. It's done purely for cosmetic effect. So if you pause the game, press restart, and then unpause the game again at a specific timing, it skips the fade-out animation for some reason. It's like barely faster, but because Fladervy will do anything that's barely faster, he will go for it, even if it risks killing his entire run, because he's that type of person. Large cyclone jump. If you cyclone on the ground and then jump, you get a large speed boost because it's like multiplicative on the ground. And this would normally be the lead-in to the boss of the first level. You don't fight the boss in this level because you can just sort of skip it, because the trigger to end the level is on top of the level, which you're not really supposed to be able to get up to. But you can. Like so, if you do a precise cyclone jump, aim at a spot on the scene you can't see, and then boost directly right, you're now on top of the level. Very well done. Flawless. Okay. If you miss that, it loses like 40 seconds or something, so good hustle.
Because we have to actually fight the boss.
Alright, so this is the second level, Relic Maze. It's one of the harder levels in the game, despite being only the second one. It's full of a lot of precise movement tech and other stuff like that. So we'll boost from here, dive onto a very specific slope, do a double dive in the air where you can dive kick twice by cyclone cancelling. There's a lot of different moves to do in this game that they all combo into each other in very natural ways. It's quite a lot of fun to run. And there's another fade-out skip there. You can do that one instantly on touching the door for whatever reason. Every single door and every fade-out has a particular timing to it that's unique to that door. And the only way is you just got to memorize all of them. It's good fun. So he's waiting for the cycle there to boost into the hole precisely. That's a lot harder than it looks, because if you miss it, you bounce clean out, and therefore lose a lot of time and your meter.
Oh, okay.
You got it. Just climb the ladder.
Okay.
And this will be a zip. Platform moves into you, you move into platform, you go up. And he walks clean through that wall because he hit the switch earlier that disabled the yellow blocks, but the yellow blocks and the purple blocks use the same programming. So if you hit the yellow blocks and then zip into the purple room, you can just walk clean through the purple wall. It doesn't look like you can, but yes, you can. And he did a checkpoint warp there, where sometimes restarting to go back to more convenient checkpoints is faster. This level's non-linear, so it works better in this level than it does in most.
We have another mini-boss.
Oh yeah, and this mid-boss can be skipped outright. If you just boost under it, you skip it, and just hit the train and it dies, and that's a mid-boss entirely skipped without really any effort whatsoever. You even get an achievement for doing that, so like that skip is known by the developer. The developer of this game is actually a really cool dude. He's like sort of left speedrunning tricks in at the behest of the community because he thinks they're kind of cool himself. That is called Cave Dive, and that entire sequence of movement is ridiculously precise, and Fladervy makes it look way easier than it actually is. And a fade out skip. All right, check this out. He gets onto the ceiling and like changes off the ceiling in order to gain more speed, because if you dive kick off the ceiling on a curved surface, you gain lots of speed very quickly. This is the fastest way to do this. It looks like it'd be slower to push the block, but no, it's not. And here he'll do another like ceiling transfer thing, like we're playing Tony Hawk, to gain lots of speed. And here's another vaguely non-linear section where you have like 2 rooms. And we'll do the auto-scroller first, where you can sit down while you wait. How pleasant. It doesn't last for very long though, and then you have to get a move on. He's also intentionally leaving crystals around while he goes through this section. The crystals refill meter, the top left, which lets you boost, which means you have to intentionally leave crystals lying around as you proceed through this room in order to have enough to boost right now, so you can exit the room in a faster fashion. Very precisely planned out.
And I could do this boost earlier.
And this is a chicken. 1, 2, 3,
Three boosts,
boost,
it's gone.
dead. That was a mid-boss. You see him? No, you don't. Don't even worry about it. So we're coming up on the boss of the stage here, and this boss is a complete pain. He has very unpredictable movement and can really screw you out of a lot of time if you don't get it precisely right. So he's going to attempt a trick called Timer Freeze here. Freedom Planet runs off the game clock, and as you can see, the game clock isn't visible, which means it's frozen. So if you boost precisely through here and get a hit in before the timer comes back on screen, exactly like that, the timer stays frozen and the camera stays locked. And Fladervy here is going to do damage boost to try and get as much hits on Mantleth here as possible. And here he'll go for the quick hit on the 3rd phase, which entails doing enough damage to disarm. Now, unfortunate. If you get it precisely right, Mantleth will jump into you as you're boosting into the wall, and when you boost into a wall, you like flip upside down and then stay floating against the wall, so you can like damage things by sort of sitting on top of them.
And you've seen them doing a little bit of a damage boost at the start of each phase there as well, just getting a bit of extra damage in.
Good fight.
Okay.
He had 1 hit remaining. He still goes for those damage boosts even though he's like nearly dead. Nothing stops this man. Nothing. B27's a good time. Okay, so Fortune Knight. Fortune Knight has the first and I think only instance of wrong warping in this game, and it only works because the screen transitions in this particular level are actually programmed straight up differently from everything else. And this middle screen route here is completely bonkers, and I don't even really understand anything that just happened there. He like cycloned off a loop, hit the loop at the precise point to attach onto it, cycloned off it, and then double dive. So you need to like slow it down to really understand. And that laser didn't break that one block that Fladervy tried to jump through. That, as far as I know, is random. I don't get it. It makes not sense.
It's based on Global Cycle, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that. Go figure. Global Cycle, apparently.
I had to go super slow here because of this.
And here's the wrong warp coming
manipulation.
up. You hit this cap, which closes it so the enemy kills itself with its own bullet. And then you roll into it to bonk off and out of the loading screen. And then it defines a checkpoint as the last checkpoint on the previous screen, but warps you to the next screen over so that you appear halfway through the new screen. This only works on this level and on these 2 screens because they are actually literally programmed differently on an engine level. You high uppercut onto that ceiling to reverse roll boost out of that loading zone to do another wrong warp. And a high uppercut is a trick where you have to hold up and press jump and attack at the exact same time. It's like within a couple of frames of each other. So your uppercut goes like twice as high. You get varying heights based on how well you do it and also whether the game feels nice and whether or not it's a Wednesday, because it's hilariously inconsistent even at the best of times. And that was a mid-boss, by the way. Didn't really have time to explain that. Just kind of boost against the wall a whole bunch. Oh yeah, and pausing for whatever reason will speed up slowdown effects like that. That normally takes several full seconds to play out, but if you just mash pause, it goes by way faster. I don't know why. It applies to every explosion in the game, even the really long boss ending ones. But they're frame perfect on the boss ending ones. He'll go for them, because I know he will. No point, but he'll do it. So off zip lines here, you can get tremendous speed if you cyclone off of them at the precise timing with just the right type of angle. And it's really finicky and quite hard to do. Good ground cyclone off that. So here's another zip line. This one loses a lot of time if you miss it. That's a good angle. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, that's a good angle.
So do a double dab hit just to miss that ramp, because if you touch the ramp, you like bounce off it. And the speed of the elevator is dictated by the speed you have going into it, so it went down like comically quickly. Ah.
Oh, I didn't get the perfect angle.
There's a balloon here that you normally have to ride. He'll go for backup balloon skip instead.
Oh.
No cyclone.
I tried
Unfortunately, you
to
can
cycle
skip
too
that.
early.
You can skip that if you
And that was
skip it.
supposed to be in the boss as well.
That was a mid-boss. Not even worth commenting on. Next. How about an actual boss? Okay, so this is Robo Panther, and its cycle of attacks is dictated by whether or not you deal enough damage to it straight away, and also partially by whether or not it feels like doing attacks particularly quickly. I think it is literally random. I'm not 100% certain. He's doing a boost hit. Okay, so here's a trait of boosts on levels where the floor moves automatically away from you. It's a thing known as wonky boosting, where you sort of gain very analog control over the speed and direction of your boost, so you can actually slow your boost down by pulling away from it. And he's gone up early. That's unfortunate. But now he's doing high cyclones in order to do a backup strat here and boost all the way into that, a perfect boost through that. Great backup. And a high cyclone is done when you pause the game, jump, pause the game, and then pause the game, unpause the game, and try and jump again. Like, I'm told it's frame perfect. I don't believe that. I won't argue about it here. And if you do it correctly, you cyclone ridiculously high, like up to 3 times the height of a normal jump. And also maintain your speed for quite a distance. It's quite good to go quickly with, but it's remarkably difficult to pull off consistently. Even in IL runs, you'll miss it like a bunch of times trying to do it. So this is Sky Battalion, a non-linear level where you can do any of 3 sections in any order, and we're going to completely ignore that by doing them in linear order anyway, and thus completely undermining the design gimmick of the level. Groovy. If you try to do a spike jump there, if you land on a spike and try and jump off it at precisely the frame at which you land, you can jump off it without taking damage. Which, you can go for that. It's frame perfect in a 60 FPS game, if you want. Gain speed off the red springs. The red springs give you more speed than the blue springs, so you dive kick onto that. It's pretty hard to hit the right spring there and not hit the left one and get sent backwards. And this mid-boss, you have to hit a high uppercut here, exactly like that, and then boost to the right. And you bounce off, and he dies in 1 hit. Mid-boss didn't even get a chance to attack. That's how fast you can do it. And he'll roll boost through this cannon. Normally, you have to destroy the cannons and wait for an airplane to come and pick you up, and then go to the next level. Or you can just not do that and touch the right side of the screen and move on with your life. We like to do that here. So here he'll do a damage boost. If you turn exactly like that, if you turn around just before you get hit, you bounce in the other direction, because whether or not you bounce in a certain direction is based on the direction you're facing, not what direction you actually got hit from. The engine's not that complicated. So if you turn around just slightly before you get hit, you'll bounce in the opposite direction and maintain a little bit of speed. It's how you save a few more frames and make that like entire sequence of movement possible at all. Oh yeah, and health pedals as well. That's health. If you have full health, health pedals will also refill your meter, so health management becomes key. And this is another mid-boss. This is Spade. His movements are manipulable by your own, which means you kind of get a feel for it. It's really hard to explain, considering it lasts about -2 seconds like that. It's done. And if you pause the game, his color palette inverts. So the final ship here can be a bit of a pain because it has moving crystals that can block your path, and it's based on the global cycle. Which, the global cycle is like the cycle of how long you've been in the level so far, so it's nearly impossible to predict where they're going to be. That was almost good. Almost.
It's fairly decent.
Just about. Taking ladders is slow, boosting up them is faster. Skids through the platform there at a very precise angle. That's a lot harder to do than it looks. Everything in this game is a lot harder to do than it possibly looks, but it's the kind of game where you spend hours practicing single movement traits. Get stuck on the ceiling. That's a thing with this game's physics. You can kind of just attach to ceilings all willy-nilly, if you like. And here's this mid-boss. He's going to bonk off the wall to try and get a final hit in. Kind of whiffed one of the hits, so he'll have to do a slightly slower thing. If you get hit on the way down, you regain your Cyclone, and you can use that to exit quicker. And now we'll hit the boss. And he'll jump dive onto that rocket because it will start the boss 0.2 seconds faster. Here's the boss. You have to hit all its feathers and then hit the head. Or just that, which gets everything in one attack. So he'll bait the boss over to the right side of the screen here and then do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dead.
You have to wait for
Easy.
these 4 dashes to attack again. In this third phase, there's this visibility attack you can skip.
He boosts through and then does an uppercut through a combo to hit all the orbs again. The timing on all this is quite specific, but he makes it look easy. And the last 2 phases, second verse, same as the first. Just 1 boost, all it takes. He went for the frame-perfect pause to try and skip the slow explosion animation, which, since we go by game time, has no bearing whatsoever on how your run ranks, but you can do it.
This is far from over.
Jade Creek, this level rules. This has super swimming in it because we stole our trick names from Wind Waker. So you can boost under the water, and if you repeatedly jump and dive, the jumping rule where you don't lose speed if you're dive kicking applies underwater as well. So you can do this and rise out with a lot of speed. Otherwise, swimming is quite slow, but if you do that, you can move through large bodies of water really fast, which makes a water level in a platform game actually not complete. Complete slow. That's not a complete sentence. I don't care. Moving on. So he'll do it again here. He'll rise out of the water with speed. And chaining continuous dive kicks is harder underwater because obviously if you're in the water, you're not in the air. So it won't you're not in the air, so it will make you do repeated dive kicks. You have to do it with a certain rhythm. And those bubbles will extend your jump a little bit further if you manage to hit one on the precise cycle, which of course he does. No problem whatsoever. So that jump is normally not possible to make unless you hit a very specific bump in the ground. And then he cyclones off, hits the ceiling, and goes all the way up to the top of the level, not even remotely doing the intended route.
Should make sure I'm running against a cycle later on the stage.
Yeah, this whole level is kind of cycle-based, because there's a later bit of the level where water rises and sinks based on the global cycle, so you have to execute well enough within certain parameters to have the adequate cycle. So this is Lake Glide. He's not going to make it all the way, unfortunately. If your jump is very, very precise, you can make the whole jump in one. And this is Nira. Normally, she summons shields in order to protect herself the same way you can get shields as the player character. Or you can just kill her so she doesn't have time to do that. It's faster that way. He made that cycle. Barely.
So this screen and the entire next one is all on a huge global cycle. Which I think...
So this is the largest super swim. Let's see if he gets it. Because if you do, you come up with an immense amount of speed. Nailed it. That's really hard. Will he get the jump off the box?
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. I love that sequence. It's great.
And that saves over 10 seconds compared to doing this.
It saves a
screen
ton
normally.
of time. So much time. It's so good looking as well. That's why I love this game as a speedrun. The movement is so good. It's so clean. Alright, so we're coming up on the boss here, and the boss here is a thing of beauty. It's the same mid-boss from Fortune Knight, which I didn't really have time to explain, so now I get to do it again. Game making up for the slow pace of my own commentary.
I'm going to stun lock him again.
Just keep him trapped against the wall, boost into him, juggle him in the air a lot so he doesn't have time to do his long gun shooty attack thing. Then a chopper happens, so he does high uppercuts, bounces against the wall, repeatedly kicks, and then boosts to the right to bounce off the wall again, in order to repeat the process more and more and more. And in this way, you get a lot of damage off. Is he going to try murder boost? Not quite. 4 uppercuts isn't bad.
Oh,
no frame
almost
rate.
there.
3 flat. Is that 3 flat? That's 3 flat. That's really good. My ILPV on the stage is a 312. Just, casually beat ILPVs by several seconds. As you do. So the next level, Thermal Base, is a bit like Jade Creek in that straight away he's up against a particularly tight cycle in order to make a zip that allows him to skip half the screen outright. And you really can't afford any mistakes here at all, really, if you want to make this cycle. So we'll see how this pans out. Boost up, but not too early, or you bonk on the ceiling. Dive kick under this, but not too high, so that you don't accidentally land on the platform. jump dive here, but not too early so that you don't miss the platform. Jump here to hit the cycle.
Nice.
Absolutely beautiful. That's so difficult, and you can't afford even a half-second worth of mistake if you want to make that at all. Won't work. Amazing. Oh yeah, and this level's gimmick is that you have key cards that you use to get through doors and stuff. We skipped a key card by doing that zip entirely on the previous screen, because that takes too long. Here's a box zip. This is very easy, provided you don't do that. Actually, it still works, never mind. Just push a box into another box, and then stand on the box, and the boxes go, what are you doing here? Get off me. And push you through the ceiling. Right, so this sequence is really cool. You keep speed, jump into the mid-boss here, the squid holding the key you want, repeatedly kick, boost onto the ceiling, and if you manage to do enough damage here, which is partially random, you get on the ceiling, go all the way around, and then pick up the card on the way out. It's incredibly good looking. It's my favorite strat in this game by far. Will he make the cycle? No. He decided not to go for it.
cycle based.
So this mid-boss has a bizarrely large amount of health, but because your boost can like track enemies across the screen like so, if you time it exactly right, one shot, easy, free, uppercut, dive kick, dead. No problem whatsoever. Didn't even really get a chance to attack. Here's a giant wall of lava, because platformers aren't complete without something of this nature.
But did you even have the chance to see it?
Damage boost through that.
Or falling down there would consume a lot of time.
So he'll get the fire shield here, I think? Yes. Fire shields, just like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, have elemental affinities, like the fire shield will make you flat out immune to fire type things, which will be useful on this screen. And on this screen, it's very important that he pays attention to and makes cycles, because there are crushers that pound down later in the screen, and if you get hit by them, you die instantly, and he's going to go for the clip because he's crazy. Unbelievable. That's like sub-pixel based and very difficult to do consistently. How are the cycles? I slightly bombed. These kill you instantly if you touch them, so if your cycle is not extremely correct, you die. You lose. Go home. None for you. And there's more of them coming up. But his cycle is fine, I think.
I have to wait here.
Yeah, wait a little bit, but it's fine. Better than dying. So this would normally be an auto-scroller where you just kind of have to sit on an elevator. No, we don't fancy that. We're going to repeatedly brain damage ourselves on the wall in order to go up as high as possible and land straight up there. Don't do fade out, Skip. Thank you. So the key to going fast in your speedrun, right, is to attack the bosses before they're done talking.
Oh,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
that's unfortunate.
You can attack that boss before they're even done talking. You can kill their entire first phase before the timers even come back on screen. And I believe Fladervy's trying to activate like a ladder glitch thing here in order to like make his position suddenly change. Yeah, like that. Your eyes don't deceive you. If you blinked and you missed it, he just suddenly went from up there to down there in an instant because he like stored ladder position or so. I have no idea how this works. I really don't. There you go. There's nothing else to do during this fight because otherwise it's pretty static and it just sort of hangs around and fires balls at stuff.
Oh, okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This is my favorite level because it has the best music. This is the level that like got me into the game because a friend of mine linked me the soundtrack to this game. And I was like, what is this song? This is amazing. And that was how I ended up playing this game for like 900 hours of my life. Regretful. So this level has super boost rings, which lets you do boosts, but more. And the boost rings, the super boost puts you up to a higher speed, and the higher speed is relevant because dragon boosts, which is what they're called, do damage according to your speed. They're multiplied by your speed, and because the super dragon boost puts you up to maximum speed, the speed cap of the game at 15 pixels per frame, it will basically instantly annihilate everything it touches straight away, no questions asked. And this is, you have to boost at a precise position in the air to land exactly on that to jump dive over that gap. If you fall down, you get treated to a face full of bees, and it's very unpleasant. Here are bees. And he bonked off the ceiling. That's the type of thing you don't want to do, because then bees happen. You don't want these. I've never seen that route before. So he actually managed to pull off a high cyclone there finally, so he got like a lot of height and kept his speed there, which is how he was able to mow through that entire section so fast I pulled a face, because I've never seen that route before. So this is also a cycle thing. Those blocks appear on a very tight cycle, so he like barely makes it. Kept his cyclone over the gap. Not quite. He'll try another high cyclone here, I reckon. And he gets it all the way up and maintains his speed. That's really hard to do. Very difficult. So this is more cycles. Clean through, clean through. So he's on a good cycle right now. There's a block maze that appears at the end, but you can just ignore the maze entirely if your cycle is exactly so. Is it exactly so? It's exactly so. That block appeared just a fraction of a second before he needed to boost into it to hit it. It's all very planned. You can't be more than like fractions of a second out, otherwise that will like whiff and send you tumbling backwards.
So, Hollow Dragon.
Hollow Dragon. So first he has to make it up to the lever, which I think he has a setup for now, or something resembling it. There you go, it doesn't bonk on the ceiling. I bonk on the ceiling all the time trying to get down, fall all the way back down. So Hollow Dragon is a boss where there's many, many balls on the back, and you have to kill like most of them in order to kill the boss. Or don't do that, because the game has some sort of code in it where if the boss is like mostly shuffled off the screen, it will despawn orbs and you can kill it very quickly. Which is great, because otherwise this boss would take like 9 years to do. So he'll wait here, get a super boost ring to do more damage later, and just sort of chill out here on the right side of the screen, hit orbs. And he's not just chilling on the right side of the screen for no reason. He's trying to despawn orbs with this. I think he's successful. Precisely so.
I think now it's the perfect time for donations.
Yeah, the bit coming up is like a auto-scroller shmup section kind of thing, so now is the time for donations.
Perfect. We got a $25 donation from Lee Tregan saying, shout out to Flad, you're doing great. Also, great couch. How's it going, fellas? We got a $10 donation from RLLB Cheese saying, $10 for the amazing commentator.
Wow, thanks.
We got $25 from OPT Lawyer saying, my friend and I are watching this Freedom Planet run together. It's his favorite game, and he's never seen a speed run of it. He's in utter shock right now. Awesome job.
Good taste. Great taste. So he's kind of mashing buttons here because if you mash buttons, the meter doesn't deplete fast enough, and also he's holding right because that makes the distance meter deplete a little bit faster. It's still an auto-scroller no matter what, really, but it's also not tracked by game time at all. But it more or less moves at a fixed speed regardless, so whatever.
I'm also hoping to get as few hits as possible.
This is a boss, maybe. Can I just casually dodge? Here's a thing of note with the shmup section right before he ends it. The hitbox is the tiny lilac riding on the back of the dragon, and the bobbing up and down is not a visual effect. That does move your hitbox up and down. It's really annoying. And this is Battle Glacier. This is the hardest level in the entire game by like a long shot. Maybe, like second. Yes, I'm going with hardest. I'm not going to contradict myself. It's really long, has a lot of precise tricks, and everything, you can see the ground is slightly curvy. That's not a visual effect either. That means your angle will definitely change by microscopic amounts, and that has huge implications for everything you try and do. And it's a complete nightmare to try and manage it.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, he lost the shield early, unfortunately, which necessitates doing like backup strats and possibly a different kind of like change of route, because you rely on the effect of the Earth Shield at the start, which draws crystals to you, which is useful for getting boost. And this screen is based on a cycle, which, because he had to wait at the start for boost, I think might have difficulty making somewhat. Or this. It's fine. They come down every so often anyway. That's a cycle. What cycle? I don't know. So speed down those corkscrews as well is dictated by speed going in. Do the backup. Do it. Jump off that tiny corner. Nah. Just gonna high uppercut his way up there instead. Get a bit of speed off that by jumping off like a weird glitchy corner thing that just happens to be protruding out of that. And these drills. Oh, these drills. They are one of the level gimmicks in this. I don't like them. I resent their existence. They're very finicky, have weird hitboxes, take just slightly too many hits to be convenient, and kind of freak out sometimes and don't all go in a row. So here you have 3 of them in sequence. He's trying to boost through all of them to get a triple boost through it. Exactly like that. That's harder than it looks. You have to line it up precisely so, and if any of them go slightly off-center, they'll like lap for no reason on the wall. And this is the mid-boss that chumps absolutely everyone on the first time through this game because he hits like 5 million times harder than anything else up to this point, but his movements are manipulable. If you just kind of sit in front of his face, but exactly so to not get hit, you can just keep him jumping in one place so that he doesn't ever move and he doesn't ever hit you. And he does a high uppercut there to sneak in a cheeky little extra hit. And 1 more hit, I think, or is it 2? It's 2. I can't count. And you try and kill him on the right side of the screen so that he leaves the screen faster and opens the door. And this sequence here is based on platforms that move. But if you just do this, you can go totally through it under that enemy with exactly the right timing. And he's going to go for a pixel perfect hit here, literally pixel perfect with exactly the right spacing. Didn't quite get it the fast way, and he's going to do the setup here in order to position on precisely the right pixel. It's pixel 9064 X coordinate. I know this because I'm an idiot. He gets it. If you do that zip wrong, by the way, if you're 1 pixel too far to the right, you soft lock. So, good. Didn't soft lock. Ignores all of this entirely, just sort of walks on spikes there for a bit because you have like brief invulnerability coming off the shield hit. Lasts a bit longer than regular hit. Otherwise, the movement here is jumping off corners in order to try and gain a little bit of speed, because you can kind of do the Sonic thing of jumping off tiny corners in order to accumulate a bit more speed. Or you can jump onto corners like that, because Luke's in this game behave incredibly strangely. Sonic World's engine, what are you going to do? This mid-boss returns from the first level. And now he doesn't. He's gone. Bye. So this is final Jaws. He has to do a precise jump dive over that. It's very hard to not bonk the wall. Hit 3 of these in sequence and go straight through. That is immensely difficult because there's a bunch of enemies dogging you while you do that if you're even slightly slow, and you will die there most likely on your first time through the game because it's really hard. He makes it look a lot easier than it is. And this is Dale 2, a boss who is a complete pain for Lilac because you have to do precise high uppercuts to gain a number of hits in order to get rid of his shield. He got the glitch hit. For some reason during that white fade out, his hitbox is like down below and not up where he is. So if you time it exactly right, you can get a glitch hit if you miss one of the other hits. Still got that hit. The high uppercuts have to be done exactly. If you miss a high uppercut here, you're down like 6 seconds or something per cycle you miss. And it doesn't look like he's going to miss any of them. Ah, no, there's one. Tries to damage boost off it though to save it. Very well done. I've never seen that. That's creative. Excellent. Damage boost off the projectile coming off to try and gain a little bit more height and reset his cyclone in the air. That's genius. I've never seen that before. Oh yeah, the fake out. This game has a plot. I don't remember what it is. Now the stage is complete. You may clap again. I'm having too much fun with this, I'm sorry.
Now we're going to the last 4 stages into the Dreadnought.
The final 4 levels are short levels that are all kind of like a set, all taking place on like the final giant ship of the game. Round 1. So this level is all cycles, cycles, cycles. You have to move very precisely, and this level is probably one of like the most optimized ILs in the entire game because people just sort of played this level and only this level for a period of several months at one point. I don't know why. Beats me. He's doing this route. Oh my god. If he did that like slightly slower, he would have gotten hit by that and it would have thrown all the timing off. I winced really hard at that because that was so close. Straight in the hole. The cycle should be good for this. That route is crazy. So enemies come in all through this. It's not worth fighting any of them. Don't waste your time. Gonna do the high uppercut for that.
I might get hit now.
Yeah, the cycle might be off because of that. No, it looks good. It looks good. Jump, like, sort of skids over every single hole because he's got just enough speed to make it up there. Very well done. And now there are airlocks which push you down. We're going to ignore those entirely by doing that and high cycloning up a ladder. If you fall down here, you die. One of, like, the 2 instances where you can just fall off the stage and die in the entire game. Boosts in the air shaft before hitting the hang bar to not lose any speed whatsoever. Again, the timing on that, very difficult, and the air will actually attempt to push you down onto the hang bar and mess you up. He tried to kick an enemy there while moving through the teleporter in order to maintain his speed, because having hit lag while going through a teleporter that goes through a wall, exactly those conditions will maintain your speed, and only those conditions. Because this game is like that. So here he'll abuse a wonky boost again to boost straight up and then straight down off the ceiling and kill the first phase straight away. And he'll damage boost bounce into the core to stay inside it with a single boost. Very fast boss, 145. So this run so far has been incredible. Doesn't matter, because the Dreadbox is coming up. Dreadbox is a like double sub-pixel mega frame perfect uber total annoying trick where you have to be extremely precise, and if you don't get it, you lose like minutes. Whether or not you get it is kind of partially luck-based and partially just it's extremely precise. If you get it, you skip like 40 seconds of the level, and this level's kind of a ball ache, so that's pretty nice. Box in this, that's the most common outcome of that. The box just gets stuck in the ceiling and doesn't take you with it, which is awesome. And if you get it, you just go through the entire ceiling, and the reason this works is because you take the key cards with you from an earlier part of the level into a later part of the level, so you can skip a door that you're not really meant to have the cards for yet. Almost. So you have to jump and like cyclone kick into this box at a precise angle in order for this to work. All the while that enemy constantly respawns underneath you to make life just that much more difficult for absolutely no good reason. Like, go away. No one likes you.
There you go.
Yes!
Yeah, my boy! High cyclones up, straight onto the spring. Not quite what he had in mind, I don't think. So he got Dreadbox. That can sometimes take several minutes to get. That's how inconsistent it is. The fact that he got it in a marathon run at all is crazy. That was still worth doing, I think. Just barely worth doing over the normal route. So it was worth it. You did it. You did a worthwhile Dreadbox in a marathon. A first for this game ever. Congrats. Oh yeah, in this section the oxygen is turned off, which basically means you have the breath meter like you do if you're underwater, but it depletes slightly faster for Lilac, because Lilac can breathe twice as long underwater. Fun fact. Barely noticeable in normal gameplay, but it's totally there. Or you can have the bubble shield, which also shields you from drowning underwater, which I don't remember if it does in Sonic 3 and Knuckles or not. I'm not well versed in that game. Is it?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Another high cyclone to get over that, just a few frames faster. Another one. He's getting those a lot now. So because he has the shield, he doesn't have to do the restart here. Because if you do a restart warp here, you regain all your oxygen back. And he does that zip, which again has to be set up remarkably precisely. And he just jumps into it. Like, he doesn't even set it up. There's a strat for that where you kind of bump your head into it to set it up. Screw that. Just jump into it. It's easy. He makes it look easy. It's not. We're just going to take hits. It's faster that way. Restart to skip a cutscene there, because cutscenes are boring. And this is Giga Serpentine. He has a lot of health. And the scary part about this fight is that you can fall off it and die. And you have to do it near the edge of it so you can bounce off and continually boost into his head. But it's all about manipulating his position so that he stays on the left. You have to make him point right there so that he just misses you. You safe spot that attack and keep him on the left side here like so. That's a bit low. Should still be fine.
Okay.
Comfortable. If you die after you've killed the boss, it resets you back to like the beginning of the second half of the level because the checkpoints don't know what the hell to do if you clear a level and then die. FB3, this is one of my favorite levels because it's just straight running. It's good fun. There's one section of the space that's just a long straight hallway, and if done correctly, you maintain maximum speed all throughout here, and it just feels so good. Ooh. Saving a few frames there with some riskier strats that can go horribly awry, but he just nails first try, because whatever. those flames are on a cycle that he just avoids entirely because his timing is good. Barely gets around that corner there. Air drifting. Just fast. Try to do a high cycle there. Sometimes it just doesn't work and you get like a long jump instead because you just released it too soon. Try to do that. That loop breaks if you try and run halfway through it. Please fix, thank you. Or don't. So this is the long hallway. There's a bulldozer that gets in your way. You can just double dive straight over it if your timing is super good like that. Just keep the speed, boost through it. There's tons of enemies here. Doesn't matter. Just go straight through all of it. What do you have time for that? Doesn't quite make that boost. Too far left. But that's okay. You can catch up speed here on those booster pad things.
But I need to shoot for the boss.
Oh yeah, you need to keep the fire shield for the boss so you can do phase skips, which he's lost, so I guess I don't really know what you do at that point. Do it slow, right?
Here are more high cyclones.
Attempt for the high cyclone, fail it, do back up high uppercuts instead. So you can get this one at least. It gets that one. Damage boost through the flames, so I wouldn't have the presence of mind to do that. And this is one of the cutscenes, unfortunately, you kind of have to watch regardless of whether or not you're playing in the mode that gets rid of cutscenes or not. Behold the drama of Freedom Planet. That's a different character that you can play as currently being stabbed in the neck. She's way faster than Lilac, but for different reasons. Lilac is cooler. I think the developer's played Cave Story once in his life. Just a hunch. So this boss is relatively simple for such a late game boss, but he's going to try and do as much damage as possible in the air in order to do phase skips, because ordinarily it goes up after every hit and then comes back down and you can hit it again. Or you can not do that and just hit it multiple times while it's in the air. That was still a really good fight considering he lost the fire shield early on. Very well done. He also took an extra phase off the boss while it was already dead because its hitbox is still active and it will still drop health after the fact. Thank you for that. Angry dragon noises. So this is the last level, and just like many other levels before it, this one, it's on a cycle straight away in order to make a zip, in order to skip this entire vertical section. He'll do this crazy strat, which involves ceiling transferring off that. I don't do any of this because I think it's ridiculous. And he makes the cycle anyway, so what do I know about anything?
And this is what happens when you put a vertical level in a game where you zip vertically.
Nice.
Didn't even pause buffer it. What a guy. That has about a 6-pixel window if you want to do the moving strat, or I think like 1 if you just stand there. And he didn't even pause buffer it, which is crazy. So this level has a giant laser beam, which you can walk into to boost yourself up it if you hit it exactly the right time. But otherwise, this level is about going as fast as possible within the constraints of the cycle. But if you get stuck in it like that, you can just boost in it and you kind of pseudo-parry the laser or something of that nature. I really don't know what's going on with that. But it works, and it's fast. So do it. He'll have to wait here for this cycle. You really can't afford any mistakes on this particular portion level if you want to make the perfect number of cycles. It's unforgiving. But it's fine, you only lose like, I don't remember how many seconds per cycle, like
6.5, I think.
The laser one is 7 seconds.
Okay, go with what he says. He knows more about this stuff than I do.
We're going now into the last fights of the ground.
The last set of 3 fights in the game. The first fight is like a remixed version of the Battle Glacier mid-boss, the one where you can manipulate its position. You can get it in 1 cycle before it goes off the screen if you manage every hit as soon as you can possibly do it and leave no gaps in between, like so. To jump off the loop, kick, boost.
There we go.
1 cycle. Absolutely. And the second phase is unique, but his pattern, as of the recent patch, is fixed into a pattern that's quite good for Lilac. But you still have to do high uppercuts and damage boost to stay up as high as possible to try and hit him in the head without letting him get away too much. So he'll now do the charge attack, uppercut, full boost to the left, and kill him. Make sure he dies before you restart. If you restart as soon as he dies, you skip to the final phase. And the final phase has a pretty low amount of health, but he's quite fast. But you can completely avoid that knife if you like crouch cyclone through it, jump off the wall, dragon boost up the wall, Doesn't quite get the quick kill,
close.
but that gets off a rebound. And that's the final boss. Time is when the crystal count ticks down at the end and it makes the bling noise, which we use as RTA timing, and for some reason, I don't know who came up with that rule. I need to argue with them about it. Time. What's in game time, my dude? I have no context for RTA. Level times, level times, level times.
34, 38.
Wow, dude. That's really good for a marathon run. That's the best marathon performance this game has ever had by a long shot. Like a long shot. Fladervy's PB, I believe, is 33:22?
It's 33-22.
22.45, so that's like a minute off world record or something, which for a game this granular and intense is really good for a marathon. He's frighteningly consistent. Really good job, man.
Thank you.
One more time, folks.
Thank you so much, Fladervy, for that Freedom Planet run. All right, guys, we have a $1,000 donation from Kirby Master, saying, greetings from not Germany, but Florence, Italy. This is Kirby Master here. I'm sad that I wasn't able to make it to this year's SGDQ to meet up with my Sonic buddies, but I wish you the best of luck to Flad, Flying Fox, Critical Sid, and Frockenok. I'm sure you all do a great job with the Sonic block. Also, just Magoo and Catboo it. Split the donation evenly amongst the runner's choice. I would have donated all for good fortunes, but it seems like that's already been met.
というわけで、
Keep up the good
これは
work,
フリーダム
everyone.
プラネッ
P.S.
ト
I
でしたね。
apologize for the volunteer at the donation tracker, since keeping track of it would be a pain. As a friendly reminder, guys, coming up after this next run is Sonic Generation.
次のゲームはソニックジェネレーション、ソニックザヘッジホーク CD、英語名ソニック CD2011 ですね。2011年に発売された CD 版、ソニック CD のテイルズで 2% になります。で、その後はソニックジェネレーション、ソニックカラーズとソニックが続いて、その後にミラーズエッジ2作というふうにブロックごとに分かれる時間帯になります、これから。
Great job. Keep it up, both of you. We got a $35 donation from Disco for Freedom Planet, them the best hype man ever. We have a $50 donation from Ryujin saying, happy SGDQ and good speed run block. Enjoying Freedom Planet and looking forward to the newer Sonic titles coming up. Also, good job to everyone for voting for the Japanese Sonic CD soundtrack. All right, guys, let's take it over to our interviewing section for the volunteer interview with Darkman, Sconehenge, A9AZN2, and Skybills. Take it away.
Welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick 2017. I am Darkman, and we have a very special interview. So, of course, you guys get to see the awesome runners that put on a great show for our event. What you don't get to see behind the scenes is the amazing effort that our volunteers put in to make this happen. I mean, we have people that do all sorts of activities, and you get to see 3 of them today. So I am joined by Richard, Skybills, Emerlin. Welcome, guys. I just want to say thank you so much for taking your time to make this event a success. So we're just going to go in order and kind of go in and see what all of you do towards
このインタビューではボランティアが裏でどんなことをしているかという紹介ですね。
helping you make some wonderful social media posts.
Thank you.
Getting some glorious pictures.
例えば準備をしたりとか、あとはツイッターとかでツイートしたりするボランティアっていうのがありますね。まず。
Excellent. And Emerlin?
ドネーションをフィルターしたり、ドネーションを選んで読むのを選んだ実際ドネーションを読んだりとか。
Great. Okay. So Richard, talk to me a little bit about Donation Station. What is it that you do?
一つ一番大切な、結構大切な仕事があって、ドネーションステーションっていうのがあって、それがまあ、 GDQ ってでかいイベントなんで、もう雨のように降ってくるドネーションを、寄付を、メッセージを見つつ、これは読んでいい、これは読んじゃいけないみたいな振り分けて、それを喋ってる人、ホストに送るという仕事があります。結構大変な仕事ですね。ここまで大きくなると。もう滝のように流れてくるドネーションを見ていくんで。
Sky, what do you do as host?
I am also a donation filter as well, the very last line. And I also just make sure I interact between myself and the runner, make sure that the runner has everything they need, and
あとは奏者がちゃんと快適に RTA できる環境を作るっていうのも大事ですね。
Sure, great. And Emerlin, what do you do as tech?
In between runs, I'm mainly there.
あとは右から2番目の人は技術班で。
There's a really complicated matrix box that they have to output to
で、奏者の前に実はなんかすごい複雑な箱があって、そこにゲーム機からコードを挿したり抜いたりするといろいろできるんですけど、それをちゃんとセットアップしたりとか、あとはマイクとかヘッドセットをセットアップしたりとか、ミキサーをいじったりとか、配信の PC を操作したりとかっていうのもボランティアで全部動いてます。
So, Richard, kind of talk to me about, like, you obviously don't only do donation station, as you mentioned. You do, like, all sorts of things. What is it about, like, volunteering that you just want to put yourself out there and, like, do, like, anything and everything?
So, 6 or 7 years ago, I started going to esports events, and I kind of found it a little bit dull as a kind of normal viewer, and I really want to just help out at, various events, and I just feel like especially at a charity event like this, you're helping out Doctors Without Borders, some great charities.
結構一つ最近驚いたのが SGDQ に参加者って大体1500人いるんですけど、こういうぐらいの大きなイベントだと。結構RTA に関係ない人がたくさんいたりするんですよ。でも結構一つのゲームイベントとして見てる人が多くて、で、RTA をやってるゲームイベントとして見てる人が多くて、例えば e スポーツとかでドリームハークとかありますけど、ああいうのと同じように見てる人がいるんですね、やっぱり。なんで、今まで RTA とかやったことないよ、見たこともあんまりないよって人が参加して、例えばボランティアしたりとか、ホストして喋ったりとかっていう人も結構います。それがきっかけで RTA 始めたりとか、見るの始めたりっていう人も多いんで、そういう意味で、アメリカ現地ではかなり RTA の普及に貢献しているイベントですね。ただの RTA のための RTA だけの人が集まってるイベントではないっていうのが大きなところであると思います。
And Emerlin, as a tech person, as a stage tech, there's obviously a lot of stress involved with setting up each run. I mean, how do you deal with that, knowing that the setup is taking like 10 minutes too long or something like that? Like, what do you like? Do you feel like there's a lot of
そうですね。あとはやっぱりこういうふうにスケジュールで動くイベントなので、やっぱり予定では5分でセットアップしなきゃいけないところ10分かかっちゃったり20分かかっちゃったりしたら、それだけでもスケジュールが落ちちゃうので、そういうところで。今右から2番目で喋ってる人、技術班のボランティアはそういうところでストレスがかかる仕事ではあるんですけども、まあだから楽しいっていうのもあるんでしょうね。僕も RPG リミットブレイクというちょっと小さめのイベントですけども、アメリカでやったイベント参加してボランティアで技術班に入ったんですけど、やっぱりその決まった時間で全部やる。で、抜けがないように、しかも奏者がちゃんと快適にRTAできるような環境を作るっていうのは、なかなか難しいです。簡単にできないことですね。そう、やっぱり友達がいる、あっちに友達がいる人はぜひ行くべきだと思います。GDQ とか、リミットブレイクとか。楽しいです。本当に楽しいです。1週間本当に休み取ってバカンスのつもりで行くと変にそのハワイとかなんかで遊びに行くよりも全然楽しいですよ。やっぱり同じ趣味を持ってる人がたくさんいて新しい人に会えてっていう 環境はほとんどないんで、しかもこのような大きな規模では貴重な体験ができると思います。高いですけどね。
All right, thank you so much. As a friendly reminder, coming up next is Sonic CD 2011 by Flying Fox. Because we have reached the donation incentive, we will be doing all good futures, I should say. So thank you guys for doing that. And again, as a reminder, after Sonic CD 2011 is coming Sonic Generations. We do have a bit war that we are trying to reach with Green Hill Zone completely blindfolded. It's going to blow your mind. So make sure to cheer those bits so that we can reach that incentive. We got a $15 donation from Anthony. Says, gotta go fast. We have a $40 donation from Brothers in the Creed saying, love watching SGDQ, especially the Sonic block. Shout out to the Stampede.
英語理解は適当ですよ。結構、なんか、ふらっと話題を僕が自分で引き伸ばしてるだけなので。
We have a $200 donation from Daniel saying, I'm not sure what it is about GDQs, but I always get a wave of motivation, knocking out much needed housework with pure awesomeness in the background. Well, thanks so much, Daniel.
ある程度英語を聞いて話せる程度になってますけど、やっぱり通訳はできないですね。だからやっぱり一語一語訳すというよりも、その話題について僕自身で話す感じになっちゃいますね。
We got a $50 donation from Koshi-chan saying, glad to make it for the Sonic block, but that doesn't mean I have to care about those animals. Kill those animals fast. We got a $25 donation from the Sly Soul saying, gotta go fast. Keep up the good work. We have a $50 donation
英語もまあまあ喋れますけど、まあここは英語喋る場所じゃないんで。
Looking forward to the rest of the Sonic block and shout outs to Lilac and all the other dragons in attendance.
僕のストリーム見てもらえば、日本語、英語の方がたくさん喋ってますよ。自分の Twitch のストリームでは。
Better charity, blah blah blah, take my money.
でもあれですよね、ゼファーです。ゼファーっていうのかな。結構日本語うまいですよね。
Alright, give a round of applause for Flying Fox in Sonic
で、
CD
次、Sonic
2011.
CD 2011。